Hello, I'm CJ Werleman, and in this episode, we reveal how China is modernizing the Iranian military to support fresh counterattacks against the State of Israel. But first, please remember to like and subscribe to our show. Now let's get into it. Israel may have succeeded in achieving air superiority over Iranian skies, killing Iranian generals and setting back the Persian country's nuke program by several months. But none of this has stopped Iran from overwhelming Israeli air defense systems and decimating Tel Aviv. This is the Zionist state on the receiving end of shock and awe, as entire apartment blocks and high-rise buildings were leveled by Iranian ballistic and hypersonic missiles, leaving Israel to count the costs of its unprovoked aggression, as Iran emerges from this latest skirmish more resilient and more powerful than ever before. It not only preserved its missile stockpiles, but also has deepened its military relationship with China during the past 2 weeks, a move that has sent Israeli and American officials into a panicked tailspin.
Are you concerned about the Iran and China military cooperation?
Well, obviously, we're watching that. We're very concerned about that.
China has copped a lot of criticism for sitting passively on the sidelines during the so-called 12-day war. But to its credit, it did give Israel an unmistakable final warning at the United Nations last month.
China condemns Israel's actions that violate Iran's sovereignty, security, and territorial integrity.
Anybody who studies the Chinese Communist Party knows that it never wages war on somebody else's timeline. We are talking about a bureaucratic behemoth that to this day is guided by the ancient Chinese military strategist Sun Tzu, who said that all warfare is based on deception and meticulous preparation, meaning that China will attack its enemies when it appears unready or unable. It wants its enemies to believe it's near when far away, and far away when it's near. And now, China is ready to join the fight against Israel, a presumption based on several points of data, starting with the fact that just 2 days after a brokered ceasefire between the two states, an Iranian delegation traveled to Beijing to seek greater Chinese military assistance against the Zionist state.
On June 25th, just 24 hours after Iran and Israel reached a ceasefire agreement, Iran's defense minister Aziz Nasirzadeh hurried off to Qingdao, China, to attend a Shanghai Cooperation Organization defense ministers meeting. On the surface, this was just a routine multilateral diplomatic event. However, it was clear to those paying attention that Iran had just gone through a 12-day war with Israel and the US, during which its nuclear facilities were destroyed, its air defense systems were severely damaged, and domestic instability surged. Given these circumstances, Nasirzadeh's trip to China was anything but ordinary. It was an attempt to seek diplomatic support and strategic backing from the Chinese government.
Iranian pleas were answered on 18th June, when several mysterious Chinese cargo flights were detected near the country's airspace before curiously dropping from radar.
A high-stakes mystery is unfolding in the skies over Central Asia, as tensions between Israel and Iran push West Asia to the brink of all-out war. Flight watchers have noticed something strange. Multiple massive cargo planes leaving China and vanishing near Iran. What were they carrying? Why did they go off the radar? And could this be a signal that China is quietly entering the conflict?
This unexpected development has left Zionists and American neocons hyperventilating over the prospect of closer military cooperation between China and Iran.
What is on those planes?
Yeah, we don't know, but we know this isn't good because those planes are turning off their transponders as they approach Iranian airspace. China is sending something it doesn't want the world to know. It could be ammunition, could be drones, pretty unlikely about that, but it also could be nuclear weapons. We just don't know.
Unbelievable.
On Monday, Arab intelligence agencies confirmed that these secretive Chinese cargo planes delivered new surface-to-air missile platforms to the Iranian military. This new acquisition replaced the S-300 air defense system that Iran purchased from Russia, which proved totally ineffective against Israeli and American warplanes.
A blinding flash as waves of explosions blast Iran's capital overnight. Here, a terrified Iranian woman films from her window, then down on the street. They are hitting. They hit 3 or 4 back to back, she says.
Military experts consider Chinese HQ-19 air defense system to be so superior over its rivals that it could potentially change the balance of power between Israel and Iran, the same way it has given Pakistan a new advantage over its arch-rival, India.
China has reportedly offered Pakistan its HQ-19 missile defense system, a beast that can track ballistic missiles and hypersonic threats from thousands of kilometers away. Yes, you heard that right. Its radar range stretches up to 4,000 kilometers, and it can knock out threats flying at 10 kilometers per second. Now the question is, if Pakistan gets the HQ-19, could it shift the balance of power, especially in the field of aerial defense against India?
Iran is now on the verge of acquiring China's famed fighter jet, the J-10C, or what Beijing calls the Vigorous Dragon, an advanced combat aircraft that earned notoriety for overwhelming the French-made Rafale fighter jet during the recent conflict between Pakistan and India.
Tehran is rearming at speed. In a stunning military pivot, Iran has signed a deal with China for 36 advanced J-10C fighter jets. And that's just the first wave. The long-term objective? A full fleet of 150 Chinese warbirds to rebuild Iran's air force from the ground up. This isn't just about replacing rusty jets, it's about preparing for the next war.
Iran's acquisition of the J-10 fighter jet will pave the way for Tehran to eventually take delivery of the fifth-generation J-35 stealth fighter jet, which has been described as a potential killer of the Israeli Air Force's F-35.
A new shadow is rising over the Pacific. A fighter jet built with a single driving purpose: to meet the king on its own turf and challenge that reign. This is China's J-35. It's sleek, it's stealthy.
More concerning for Israel is that the United States managed only to set the Iranian nuclear program back a few months or a couple of years at most. But extra worrying for Israel is that nuke-armed nations, presumably China and Russia, are willing to supply Iran with the know-how and materials needed for Tehran to acquire a bomb that can literally, and in an instant, sweep the Zionist state into the dustbin of history. The Ayatollah has not only promised revenge, but also declared that it will be Iran, not Israel, that writes the final chapter of this story. A story that promises to be a real page-turner, given Zionist aggression has served only to create a new and more powerful alliance against the state of Israel. So watch this space closely. And let me finish with this. It's not possible for me to talk about China without speaking about its systematic campaign to destroy and eradicate Islam in Xinjiang, or what indigenous Uyghur Muslims refer to as East Turkestan. I was one of the first Western journalists to reveal details of physical and sexual abuse against the Muslim minority within China's network of concentration camps, and I've interviewed and gathered testimonies from dozens of Uyghur genocide survivors and their family members over the years. I'm not only banned from revisiting China, but also have been the target of an aggressive smear campaign from senior members within the Chinese government. Although I begrudgingly accept this comes part and parcel with the job of a human rights journalist. I mean, it could be worse. I could be charged with terrorism, like I am in India, where the current regime has brought these charges against me for exposing the persecution of Muslims in the Indian states of Tripura and Assam. I'm saying all of this because while it's important to keep our focus on Israel's criminality and barbarity, we should also not lose sight of the fact that China and India are responsible for human rights abuses just as morally egregious as Israel's. Anyway, that's my time for today. Thanks for watching, and please remember to subscribe to this channel, and we kindly ask you please support our effort to expose and confront injustices in the Muslim world by becoming a member of this show at patreon.com/CJWerleman. We can't produce, sustain and grow this show without your help, and we offer exclusive benefits to those who do. But for now, good night, good morning, wherever you are, and stay blessed.